Hi, here is everything you need to know about the CAT. Not this CAT, but the Common Admission Test. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session. So, the Common Admission Test is your gateway to 22 IIMs, including the new IIM Guwahati. And not just the IIMs, but also FMS, SPJIMR, MDI Gurgaon, IITs, etc. A lot of CXOs start here. Why? Because it is not based on knowledge, it is not based on rote memorization, it rather rewards aptitude, which is a skill that can be built. Now, a lot of students have this misperception that this is an exam meant for engineers, and engineers tend to dominate the MBA cohorts. Now, if you notice, I have written here that diversity is gold. Why? Because IIMs, various B-schools want to reward diversity in their cohorts, and that is why they've started awarding some academic diversity points. Some of them, they've started doing it. So if you are from humanities, if you are from commerce, they are encouraging you to apply. Also, you just need to have minimum 50% marks in your bachelor's degree. And if you come from the SC, ST or PWD categories, then the percentage is 45% for you. In fact, you could even be in the final year of your college and you can still take the CAT. There is no age limit to take it. Okay. Second question that a lot of you have is, what is the syllabus? What are they asking? Is it that I need to know a lot of literature? Not at all. So the syllabus, if you ask me, they are not testing you on the subject English. No, that is not what is happening. They are rather testing your verbal ability and reading comprehension skill. So are you able to understand texts and then logically solve questions based on them? That is what is being tested. So, if you are able to understand various newspaper editorials, that means you can attempt the VARC section as well. You are good to go. Secondly, students fear maths like anything. Okay, they'll ask me very high level math. Look at what I've written here. It's not high level maths. It's just 10th standard level math. Arithmetic, profit loss, TSD, algebra, modern math, probability, set theory. Nothing that is rocket science here. Okay, but what they encourage is, what CAT wants you to do is to think without ink. Not going for a step-by-step formula-based approach, but rather thinking out of the box. How can I solve it quickly without even picking up my pen? Those kinds of approaches. And this comes in very, very handy when it comes to the third section, which is your DILR, data interpretation and logical reasoning, right? So if you enjoy solving puzzles, this is the section for you. Because here also again, they are seeking to build your thinking out of the box capability, your logical thinking power. And I understand that, coming from CBSE or various universities, we are not used to thinking like this. We are used to thinking in a very step-by-step manner. So in order to open your minds to thinking like this, in order to build your logic, to deepen it, you need time to prepare. And this is precisely why we are bringing our R4 batch. The batch is going to be launched tomorrow, 18th February. It is a completely English batch, meaning that the language of communication will be English. I will be taking up verbal ability and reading comprehension. Ravi sir and Apur sir will be taking up Quant, and Apur sir and Abhishek sir will be taking up LRDI. So it is a comprehensive batch, okay, and we'll talk about all the sections with you, not just in live classes, but we'll also provide you with recordings of various tests that we provide you, right? And there are going to be a lot of tests that we provide you, okay? So go through this and see if this is something that fits your requirements. And yes, if you really want to take your time in, deepening your logic, in thinking out of the box, opening your mind to it, then yes, guided preparation is the best way to do it. Okay, so now moving on to what the sections hold for you. As I just told you, in VARC, we prioritize, we prefer, we reward logic over English, right? So reading is something that really carries you through in this section, right? Because 2/3 of your paper is going to be reading comprehension. Okay, which means that 16 questions out of the 24 questions that are there in the VARC section will be from reading comprehension, 4 passages. Then the rest of the 8 questions are paragraph based questions, verbal ability, para jumbles, para summary, okay, and odd one out para jumbles. Again, it's a para jumble type. Also, we have another question type called the missing sentence, which is also known as para completion, right? So we can discuss all of this during our classes. We have separate classes on all of these topics, a lot of practice, right? So we, completely prepare you for the 2/3 and the 1/3, right? And again, we build comprehension and elimination skills in a student, right? Vocabulary is important, but VRC is not just fancy vocabulary, right? Similarly, as I just told you, your LRDI section, it really rewards set selection, okay, whether you choose the right puzzles or sets as we call them, right, in the exam. So for instance, just to give you context, in 2025, if you manage to solve 2 out of 5 sets, 2 sets of 5 questions each, and you scored a net 30 marks, right, out of 66 marks, right, 22 questions. So if you manage to do this, in that case, you got a 99 percentile, right? So just 2 out of 5 sets, that means if you selected the right sets, okay, and you managed a score of 30, then you got a 99 percentile there. So these are some of the common areas from which your sets come. However, this is not an exhaustive list, of course, okay, and this is the killer section. Why? Because this can make or break a student's sectional cutoff and score. Okay, so a very important section to crack. That's why I was talking about, opening your minds, deepening your logic. Okay, then in maths or in quantitative aptitude, as we should call it, you have to simply be street smart. Okay, what do I mean by being street smart? It means that while the math is 10th level, you have to now start thinking about it from a common sense perspective rather than from a formulae based perspective. Okay, and how do they come together? These 3 sections come together in a 2-hour test, right? 120 minutes, 40 minutes devoted to each section. You are not allowed to switch between the sections, right? So your first section is VRC, then DILR, then Quant, and you can't really switch. Okay, and that's why it's 120 minutes of adrenaline. So 68 questions in total, 24 in VRC, 22 LRDI, 22 Quant. And in these questions, out of these questions, some questions are type in the answer, wherein no options are given to you. You have to type in the answer. So for instance, in 2025, 23 questions out of these 68 were TITA, type in the answer. You get a +3 for a correct answer and a -1 for incorrect answer, which means you can't make wild guesses. Okay, now a lot of students think, my God, 99 percentile. Do I need 99% marks? Not at all. Okay, please delete this school mindset. Percentage is not equal to percentile. Percentile simply means, okay, so if I have scored a 90 percentile, that simply means that I am ahead of 90% of the students who took CAT. That's the meaning. Not that I have a 90% score. For instance, you can see that for CAT 2025, this is CAT 2025 data, you can see that somebody who scored a 51.5 out of 204, 200 mein se, okay, out of 200, if you had a 51, then you scored a 90 percentile. So at 25% marks, right? And if you had 84.8, so 85 out of 204 again, you had a 99 percentile. So see, if you had 50% marks, 100 plus 102, you were somewhere here above 99.5 percentile. So actually 50% marks, if you manage to score in this exam, that's heaven. Okay. So the question then is, should you be the tortoise or should you be the hare? Yes. So because, students think I have to score this low. So I can simply be a tortoise. I can prepare very slowly. I can solve questions very slowly. So see, during your preparation stage, you can be a tortoise in the sense that you can be slow but steady. But gradually, through test taking, gradually you have to build this skill that you are able to be an efficient hare in the exam. Because in the exam, you get 40 minutes per section. In this 40 minutes, you have to make the right choices. You have to solve. right? So you actually, it's not an either or situation. You have to be both a tortoise and a hare, right? And please notice that if you manage a 50% score, if you did that in CAT 2025, you had a score of above 99.5 percentile. Okay. All right. Now, what is the selection process like? Okay, so the first stage is, of course, your CAT score. Now, the CAT score is just an entry ticket, but it's a golden entry ticket. Okay, so it's not insignificant. Why? Because your CAT score carries significant weightage for your shortlisting stage. Okay, so in your shortlisting stage, 50 to 65% weightage is of the CAT score. Then what else counts? You must be thinking, oh, I thought it was just the CAT score. No, other things also count. For instance, your past academics, 10th, 12th and graduation marks, your work experience, right? And gender or academic diversity. So you must be thinking, oh my god, in that case, my profile is not good, my past acads is not good, I don't have any work ex, I am a male, so no gender diversity there, and I am an engineer, so no academic diversity there. Please do not panic. Okay, I'll just show you how you can still navigate this situation. And please remember this, that in the shortlisting, it is 50 to 65% your CAT score, which is something that you can work on. Right? So I'll just talk about this rest of it in the next slide, but let me just walk you through the third stage, which is the interview stage, when your interview happens. So you're shortlisted for an interview, then the interview happens. During this stage, they sometimes go for a group discussion, but in most of the B schools now, GD has been replaced with WAT, which is a writing ability test. So they make you write an essay of 250-300 words on some current topics, or it could be something abstract, and then they take your personal interview, wherein they try to test whether, why you want to go for an MBA, do you have knowledge of your acads, right? How good a communicator are you able to demonstrate leadership skills, etc., right? So this is what is tested in an interview, which is again significant because in your final selection, your personal interview carries 40 to 50% weightage, right? So 40 to 50% weightage is given to your personal interview, 25 to 35 to your CAT score, right? And the rest of it is this. So that means that the majority of the thing is in your hands. If let's say 40 to 50% is PI, 25 to 30% is your CAT score, what are we left with? We are left with, let's say, 25 to 30%, which is this. So your profile, okay, which you think is a big terror, right? It may matter less than you think. Okay, not that it doesn't matter, but it may matter less than you think. A 99 percentiler with zero personality, right? Let's say they do not exhibit any personality in the personal interview. Okay, maybe they had stellar acads, maybe they have great work experience. Okay, they can still get rejected. But somebody who's a 94 percentiler, okay, and they are above average here, not stellar, but above average, but they perform well in an interview, they might still get selected. Okay, so do not think in very black and white terms that my profile is not good, I will not get a call. It doesn't work like this. Okay, so see, as you just saw, your academics may matter less than you think, because even for, I'll give you an example. So earlier, IIM Indore used to give a lot of weightage to your past academics, but even they have changed the criteria from this year. So they have increased the weightage of CAT score to 55%. So that means that this is going to be the biggest factor in getting a call for an interview. So that's one thing that you have to remember. Secondly, students with gap years, they appear hopeless right from the beginning. I don't know why. They feel that because of a gap, they have a big disadvantage. It's nothing like this. If, there are many students who are in top IIMs who appeared for CAT after, let's say, preparing for UPSC for 3 to 4 years, right? Who had gaps of not just 1 year or 2 years, but of 3 to 4 years. We have a student in FMS who had a gap of 4 years after her class 12, right? So gap years are not a threat. You should just be able to tell the interviewer what you did during these gap years, what you learned during these gap years. So you should just be able to honestly but in a structured way, communicate to the interviewer what you learned, what was the reason, and what you did during this period. So it's not a threat. Don't make it one. And your personality matters as much as your papers, which you just saw, right? So fine, I may not have that certificate, that fancy certificate of a fancy internship, but if I perform well in a personal interview, I might just compensate for that, right? So your personality matters more than papers. Okay, but yes, your CAT result matters a lot. And do not think that, okay, oh, my profile is not great, so your profile is a sum total of not just your academics, but also your extracurricular activities, your co-curricular activities, the internships that you do, right? And if you're in your final year, you even have your academics in hand, the final year academics in hand. If you're a working professional, you have a certain number of work experience in hands. So you can simply go for some professional upskilling. So your profile is not static. You can still build some of your profile in a span of 1.5 years. So please do not look at your profile as something that's very static, right? Your personality as something that has been pre-decided. No, you can build it, you can develop it for your interview. Your gap years as the ultimate verdict of not getting selected, not at all. And don't think that, oh, I didn't get a good score in 10th and 12th, I don't have any chance. Not at all. I just showed you the opposite here, right? So control the controllables. Don't worry about things that are your past, right? Just like we don't worry about our past relationships, you shouldn't worry about your past here. Control the controllables. So what are the controllables then? These are the controllables. What is in your hands? Your CAT score, your GDPI performance, whatever profile you can build right now, through internships, through upskilling, through certifications, etc. So please worry about what you can master, not about what you can change, what you cannot change. Okay. So this is the message that I wanted to give you, as a lot of you are currently beginning your preparation. Okay. And a lot of you must be worried about these factors. So please realize that your profile is not static and it is not a verdict on your selection. Similarly, your preparation can become your biggest weapon in getting shortlisted, and then your personal interview can become a big weapon in finally making it to your top B-school. Only if you believe in the power of compounding. So if you're a working professional and you're beginning your prep, you must be thinking, okay, I don't have that kind of time, that somebody who's preparing dedicatedly for CAT has. But small efforts also add to big results. If you are consistent every day, even if you are devoting 60 to 90 minutes of quality time as a working professional on the weekdays and some quality time over the weekends, that's enough. Okay, so believe in the power of compounding and you are going to be there, right? And keep calm. That is going to be the other half of the equation. Don't overthink. Don't let it tear you away from the preparation. So this is everything that you needed to know about CAT, right? And let's bell the cat together through our R4 batch, which is going to be launched tomorrow, and the classes will begin from 27th February. All right then, see you all. Bye-bye.